Have you ever wondered why the nicest neighborhoods hide the nastiest power plays? What if your quiet grill night for friends became the HOA's free-for-all without a single word of consent? And what if the only way to fight the entitlement was with heat so vicious it burned every lie to ash? It all started 2 days earlier in Willow Creek. That picture-perfect suburb where the grass had to be exactly 2.5 inches or you'd get a certified letter and a $50 fine. I was Ryan, the guy who'd kept his head down since moving in last year after Karen and her HOA board painted me as the uncooperative newcomer for daring to hang a simple American flag past sunset. I just wanted one Saturday off from the corporate grind, nothing flashy, just smoked ribs, a few wings, and 5 buddies who actually liked my food for what it was, not for Instagram likes. I'd spent the morning marinating, rearranging the picnic benches, and stringing those cheap fairy lights like it was my own little therapy session. Cooking shut my brain off. No emails, no HOA nonsense, just meat, smoke, and peace. But peace in Willow Creek was a joke. Karen didn't knock. She never did. Her high heels stabbed across my patio like war drums while I was still flipping chicken. "Oh, Ryan, darling, this is absolutely perfect," she purred, scanning my setup with those narrowed eyes that missed nothing and forgave less. She didn't even pretend to ask permission, just let herself in through the side gate like it was community property. I turned, tongs in hand, and forced a polite smile. "Karen, what brings you by?" She tapped her clipboard like it was the Bible. "The HOA Summer Welcome Buffet. Of course. I sent the announcement in the group chat this morning. You're hosting, right? I already promised everyone your famous ribs and unlimited wings. We're calling it Unity on the Grill. The whole block is thrilled. I may have mentioned you'd cover everything, beverages too. Community spirit. You know." Her smile was all teeth and zero warmth. I stared. "Karen, this is for 5 friends. Private. I never agreed to host the neighborhood." Her lips thinned into that fake sweet line she used when she smelled weakness. "Don't be selfish. Ryan, you grill all the time anyway. People love your food. Plus, the flyers are already out with your name in big letters. Free barbecue. Unlimited wings. It's gone viral in the chat. You wouldn't want to be the guy who ruins summer for everyone, would you?" Section 7.3 of the bylaws clearly encourages neighborly contributions. She was already typing on her phone, probably updating the group with more lies. I dropped the seasoning shaker. My phone started exploding, texts from people I barely nodded at in the street. "What time should we show up? Bringing the kids. Hope you have enough." One message just read, "Karen said you're the hero of the cul-de-sac now." I stood there in my slippers, watching my peaceful Saturday get hijacked into a feeding frenzy for strangers. And something inside me clicked. Not anger. Calculation. I wasn't going to cancel. Oh no. I was going to cook. And I was going to make sure Karen got exactly what she'd promised, maybe more than she could handle. That night, I called my old college buddy Raj, the guy who ran the hottest pepper farm in the state. By the time I explained, he was laughing so hard he could barely speak. HOA nonsense again. Say no more. He overnight me his deadliest batch, Carolina Reapers, ghost peppers, and a secret sauce he called Lucifer's Tears. I spent the next day prepping in secret. Gloves, goggles, apron that read Chief of Pain Delivery. The kitchen smelled like napalm. My dog hid under the bed. I made 2 batches, one mild enough for actual guests, hidden in a cooler labeled Reserve, and the Inferno batch glowing red like it could melt steel. I printed signs in big red letters. Extreme heat only, consume at own risk, and mild for the faint of heart. Then I set out waivers in a cute little basket, just in case anyone wanted to pretend they had a case later. I also dusted off my old GoPros, 4 of them, strategically hidden in birdhouses, plant pots, and one disguised as a garden gnome. Every angle covered. Front porch, grill, buffet table, wide shot across the street. If Karen wanted a show, I'd give her surround sound evidence. By sunrise on buffet day, I was 3 trays deep. Kitchen windows fogged, eyes watering from the fumes alone. This wasn't just food anymore. This was a statement. Karen wanted credit and control? Fine. I'd hand her the spotlight and watch her melt in it. By 10 a.m., the first knock came. Not my friends. A couple I'd never met, dressed like they were heading to a country club picnic. We're here to help set up, the wife chirped, already dragging folding chairs from her trunk. Karen said you'd appreciate the extra hands. I smiled the way a man smiles when he knows what's coming. Of course. Park them anywhere. Within 30 minutes, my yard looked like a block party sponsored by chaos itself. Teens blasting Bluetooth speakers. Kids chasing balls across my perfect lawn. One guy carrying a six-pack yelling, "Who brought the karaoke?" And then, like the final boss nobody asked for, Karen arrived. Sun hat tilted just so. Bluetooth headset like she was running Coachella. Clipboard raised like a scepter. Tables there. Drinks here. Ryan darling. Hose ready by the swing set in case anyone gets sticky fingers. She strutted like she owned the place. People rushed the serving station like it was Black Friday at a rib factory. I stood behind the trays, calm as a surgeon, pointing politely to the signs. Extreme eaters only over here. Most ignored it. One guy laughed. "Huh, you're funny," and grabbed 3. Karen, of course, was loudest. "Oh, please. I eat Thai food weekly. This will be nothing." She snatched the biggest, reddest wing, bit in without hesitation. The silence that followed was beautiful. Her eyes widened. A noise escaped, like a reverse sneeze crossed with a dying engine. She froze mid-chew, clipboard trembling, then started fanning herself frantically while sweat carved rivers through her perfect makeup. Good," she rasped, voice cracking like it was on fire. The first neighbor bolted for the garden hose, aiming it straight into his mouth. A woman knocked over the salsa bowl, coughing so hard her eyes watered like she'd seen a ghost. A kid screamed, "Fire chicken," and hurled his plate into the bushes. One man started jogging laps around the picnic table like he could outrun the burn. Karen grabbed a soda, chugged it, then immediately regretted it as the carbonation made everything worse. Her headset slipped. Mascara ran. She pointed a trembling finger at me. "What did you put in these?" I raised both hands. Innocent as a choir boy. "Ghost pepper wings." "Karen, didn't you read the sign? Or the waivers? There's a whole basket right there." She snatched one, tore it in half, and tried to rally the crowd. This is malicious, but no one was listening. They were too busy stampeding for the almond milk jug someone had fetched from a car, fighting over it like it was the last lifeboat on the Titanic. I watched it all from the grill with the calm of a man who'd planned every second. My 5 real friends finally showed up, took one look at the madness, and I handed them the safe badge from the cooler. One of them bit in, grinned, and said, "Man, these are perfect. What the hell happened to everyone else?" I just nodded toward the Inferno tray. Karen threw a wing buffet. "I just brought the flavor." He nearly choked laughing. "Remind me never to cross you." I smiled wider. That was the plan all along. By sunset, my backyard looked like the aftermath of a food fight in hell. People staggered out wiping sweat, muttering about lawsuits and tongue damage. Karen stormed off last, heels sinking in the grass, swearing under her breath while her pearls bounced like they were trying to escape. I waved cheerfully. Then I turned to the nearest hidden camera, winked, and whispered, "Coming soon to a screen near you, Karen's Spicy Nightmare." The video went live the next morning on my quiet little food channel. No flashy edits. Just raw footage with timestamps like "Man tries to rinse tongue with soda" and "Karen attempts to sue a jug of milk." By noon it had 4,000 views. By dinner, 25,000. Comments poured in faster than I could read. People calling it the funniest thing since Karen memes went viral. Hot sauce companies offering sponsorships. And one guy writing, "This is why you never RSVP to anything hosted by someone named Karen." The neighborhood split right down the middle. Some laughed and said it served her right for overstepping. Others grumbled that I'd gone too far. But the HOA president, Mr. Arnold, called me himself, voice tired like he'd watched the video on repeat. "Ryan, I'm not saying I approve, but I spilled my coffee laughing when Karen tried to scream through that wing." Then the certified letter arrived, gold trim like a wedding invite. Words like malicious intent and willful endangerment flying around like confetti at a circus. Karen wanted a public apology, the video taken down, and compensation for emotional distress because apparently her lipstick had chemically bonded to her lip from the heat. I screenshot every label, every waiver, every sign, and emailed the board. Kindly refer to Exhibit A. I didn't take the video down. Instead, I dropped a calm behind-the-scenes follow-up showing the prep, the signs, the waivers stacked neatly. Caption: in case anyone's still confused. That one hit half the views and twice the impact. Stitches exploded. People reenacted Karen's meltdown in opera voices. Her group chat presence vanished overnight. I ran into her at the grocery store a few days later. Scarf over her head, giant sunglasses, walking like she was dodging paparazzi. She saw me in the hot sauce aisle and turned so fast she nearly knocked over a display. Back home, some neighbors dropped by with flame-shaped cookies and sketches of Karen breathing fire. But the real fireworks came when the board called an emergency hearing. Karen showed up flanked by her cousin in a cheap suit pretending to be a lawyer. She gave a theatrical speech about children crying, adults suffering, nightmares of flames, and how I'd violated some obscure rule about community events. Her lawyer tossed around words like negligence and hostile intent. When it was my turn, I simply handed out printed stills from the footage, clear labels, waiver basket, signs visible from every angle. The room shifted. Board members leaned in. Karen leaned back. I spoke quietly. No drama needed. I never invited the neighborhood. Karen announced it. Printed flyers with my name. Used the group chat to promise free food I never offered. Everything was labeled. Everything had waivers. She assumed consent. One board member held up the flyer Karen proudly produced and asked if she had my written permission. She stammered. I assumed he'd be fine with it. The board president sighed so deeply it echoed. While the event went off the rails. We cannot find Ryan in violation. In fact, we'll be reviewing event approval procedures moving forward. Karen's jaw clenched so hard I heard something crack. She knocked her chair over, storming out. Cousin trailing like a lost puppy. Outside, I took the deepest breath in months. It wasn't over, but this round was mine. A week later came the apology brunch, invitations hand-delivered. No mention of wings. Just reconnect and move past tensions. My buddy Tyler sent me a screenshot from a private chat. Karen planned to screen her edited version, making her the victim. I showed up early with a laptop, portable speaker, and projector. Before she even arrived, I hit play on the full, uncut footage. The room filled with the sounds of cheers turning to screams. Karen's raspy "good," the host spraying, the milk stampede. Laughter erupted instantly. Someone clapped. Then everyone did. Karen froze in the doorway, brunch tray trembling, mouth open but no words coming. She dropped everything and fled. The projector kept looping. No one stopped it. 2 days later, a handwritten note appeared on my door, blue ink, slightly smudged. Sorry about everything. You were right. Signed, Karen. No clipboard. No performance. Just defeat. The neighborhood exhaled. Karen's patrol stopped. No more flyers about trash lids or lawn heights. Then came the annual community celebration invitation. They wanted me as guest of honor and host. I agreed on one condition: my rules. My message. That day the park smelled of perfectly balanced smoke and garlic. No reapers. No pranks. Just good food with clear labels. People lined up laughing about the hose incident like it was legend now. Even the ones who'd cried into the garden that day asked for seconds. Karen showed up at the edge of the crowd. Jeans. Plain blouse. No clipboard. She got in line like everyone else. When her turn came, she simply said, "One order. Please." I handed her the plate. She ate quietly at a side table, blending in for the first time. Later, the board gave me a small plaque, Community Builder Award, for resilience, humor, and unmatched grilling. I gave a short speech about respecting boundaries and how spicy food should always come with a heads up. It got laughs. As the sun set, Karen walked over one last time. "You didn't have to be that nice," she said softly. "I could have made this worse." I nodded. "You tried. But it's over now." She gave a small nod and walked away. The saga ended right there. That night on my porch with my dog at my feet, I watched the quiet street and sipped a cold drink. The neighborhood had finally exhaled. I changed my food blog subtitle from Recipes for One to Recipes for Everyone. with a warning, unless Karen's organizing it. And for the first time in weeks, I slept without dreaming of wings or waivers or war. The fire had burned out. But the lesson? It would last forever. Sometimes the loudest voices in the cul-de-sac are the emptiest. Stay patient. Document everything. And when they hand you their own rope, tie the knot yourself. Justice isn't loud. It's just properly seasoned.